And so I've been so busy lately. I haven't had a chance to really pay attention to YouTube for a few days, which was good actually. Broke me away from my addiction. But I'm back, and I just listened to your video, Darwin's Hamster, and science is a method for collecting data, and the primary importance and use and value of that data is to design and build technology. The primary use of that technology, the primary purpose, the reason for spending the money to develop it, is for industry. And the primary reason for industry is to wage war, to design and build aircraft carriers, bombs, army bases, tanks, you name it. That's probably one of our largest exports in the United States, isn't it? Weapons systems. So whenever I criticize science, I'm criticizing that whole relationship that I just described. Because science, that we think of science, you typically think of it in terms of technology and what the measurements we are able to calculate allow us to design. We don't really understand the energies we're manipulating. We just know that they're going to do this if we design them this way. Uh, so, we're harnessing something that we don't fully comprehend. Science doesn't really tell us um, what's going on, really. It just allows us to control and manipulate something because something obeys habits. It's always evolving. Nature is always changing. The laws of nature aren't really laws, they're more like habits. They develop over time and they're always being changed. There's no stability in any of these laws. They're not laws. If they're laws, then the universe is a democracy that is getting older and changing its laws, amending its constitution. Human beings aren't the only creative expressions in the universe. We're just one among who knows what, right? We think we're so intelligent and that we can have science and we can have objective knowledge. We can have control over nature. We don't even know what nature is. And which means we don't even know who we are ourselves because we're not separate. I mean, we can feel like we're homeless and alien on this planet, but we grew out of it and we're right at home. I mean, we're right at home. Somehow it seems so foreign, but this is where we came from. This is all part of what we do, and here we are. It's amazing. But science itself, this word science, I mean, you use this word science, but okay, let's talk about what that actually means. Is that the scientific method? Is that the idea that you have a hypothetical theory that you test, you run an experiment, and if the experiment doesn't contradict your theory, then the theory stands, and people run experiments, and until the theory is contradicted, it stands, and then when it is contradicted, a new theory has to account for the old result and the new result, and that leads to this sort of a grander theory. Like Einstein's relativity is grander than Newton's mechanics on a smaller scale, his planetary mechanics, and um, doesn't mean that Newton is wrong. It just means that Einstein said yes and, there's this larger scale that's also going on that doesn't obey the same type of rules because there's other factors on such a large scale that you weren't accounting for. So science is always hypothetical. There's no knowledge. There is an ongoing understanding of nature. And that's always for the sake of technology. We want to know so we can control. Like, I think that always goes hand in hand, doesn't it? We want to know so we can control. We want to know so we can manipulate. We want to know so we can build our own. So science and technology are not they're not separate. They're identical. They're really the same process. You don't find one without the other in a society ever. So